Welcome to Nonfiction Digest. We condensing the world's nonfiction knowledge into bite-sized video summaries for you. What can you gain from this? Discover the misconception behind the self-made success stories. Does the biography of a successful person ever highlight luck as the key contributor? Most likely, no. We often believe that successful individuals have paved their way through sheer talent and perseverance. This notion paints a picture of the self-made success, a concept that, as you'll find out, doesn't have a solid base. Unseen factors, many beyond an individual's control, significantly contribute to their success journey. In these discussions, you'll uncover the unique factors behind the staggering success of Bill Gates and the Beatles, how your birth date might preclude you from ever becoming an ice hockey superstar, and the surprising connection between rice farming and mathematical abilities. Key point 1. We often idealize the self-made success story. When we encounter an exceptional mathematician, our instinct is to believe that their logical prowess is innate. Similar assumptions apply to the agility of athletes, the rhythmic sensibility of musicians, or the problem-solving capacities of computer programmers. Our tendency is to credit an individual's achievements to their personal efforts and inborn talents. Consider the case of Jeb Bush. When running for governor of Florida, he proclaimed himself a self-made man. Considering that his immediate family included 2 American presidents, a prosperous Wall Street banker, and a United States senator, this claim seems preposterous. However, the value of individualism in our society compelled him to adopt this stance. Jeb Bush's accomplishments set him apart as an outlier, someone who has achieved something statistically extraordinary. But just like Bush's advantageous background aided him, other outliers often benefit from less obvious factors to rise above the average. In our appreciation for self-made accomplishments, we often turn a blind eye to other contributing elements. The concept of the self-made man is more a pervasive myth than a reality. Key point 2. Beyond a certain point, enhancing abilities don't guarantee more success. Innate qualities matter, but being exceptionally tall doesn't assure a lucrative basketball career, nor does an extraordinarily high IQ inevitably lead to a Nobel Prize. So, why is this the case? Traits that contribute to success, such as height in basketball players or mathematical intellect in mathematicians, have a limit. Once a basketball player reaches a certain height, any additional height doesn't significantly impact their game. The same applies in academics too. Consider the case of law schools that lower entry requirements for racial minorities as part of affirmative action. These students may slightly underperform their white peers during law school. However, when evaluating postgraduate success, there's no distinction between minority and non-minority students. Despite their slightly less impressive performance before and during law school, minority students earn similar salaries, achieve comparable honors, and contribute equally to the legal profession. In the same way that height matters only up to a point in basketball, beyond a certain level of legal expertise, other factors begin to take center stage. While basic skills and traits are essential to excel in a field, once you've hit the ability ceiling, slight improvements in innate abilities won't significantly boost your progress. Other elements, such as social skills, connections, or even a stroke of luck, become more important. Key point 3. Achieving mastery in any field requires approximately 10,000 hours of practice, a formidable task. While talent indeed plays a vital role in the journey to success, dedication and hard work are often more pivotal. Bill Gates devoted countless hours to computer programming. The Beatles honed their craft with hours on stage. Although these individuals were extraordinarily talented, it was their exhaustive practice that elevated them to the global stage. Research suggests that to attain world-class expertise in any field, you need to invest a critical minimum amount of time, approximately 10,000 hours, in practice. However, not everyone gets the opportunity to dedicate such an amount of time. Firstly, It's important to have the chance to start early, to accumulate as much practice as possible and get a head start over competitors. Additionally, you or your family must have the resources to back you up. When striving to become a world-renowned violinist, finding time for work or household chores becomes challenging. Depending on your aspirations, you might also require access to costly, cutting-edge equipment. Support from family, friends, mentors, and even benevolent strangers can also be a great morale booster. If you're fortunate, like Bill Gates or the Beatles, you'll have all these resources at your disposal. However, many people don't, which prevents them from achieving world-class proficiency in their chosen fields. Key point 4. The month of your birth can significantly influence your accomplishments. Your relative age, how old you are compared to others in your peer group, can greatly determine your success or failure. Let's consider this. In Canadian youth hockey leagues, the age group eligibility cutoff date is January 1st. Kids born in the same calendar year compete against each other. Sounds fair, right? However, it's not as equitable as it appears. Annual cutoff dates cause kids born in January to compete with those born in December, making December-born kids essentially compete with those almost a year older. This system isn't just imbalanced from the outset, it also creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Coaches often applaud the superior 9-year-olds due to their advanced strength and skills. But these kids aren't necessarily better players, they're simply older, and a year is substantial when it's 1/8 of your life. These kids, advantaged by their age, receive more encouragement and opportunities to enhance their skills at a critical developmental stage. This is known as a cumulative advantage, explaining why most professional Canadian hockey players tend to have birthdays in the first half of the year. You may think, no big deal, I'm neither a hockey player nor Canadian. But relative age can create unequal opportunities in any field that uses annual cutoff dates to categorize people into age-based groups. Most sports leagues have them, and so do schools. Consequently, a 5-year-old with a short attention span could grow up believing she's a problem child because she doodled on her spelling homework. Meanwhile, the nearly 6-year-old sitting next to her might grow up to attend Harvard. Key point 5. Your upbringing can profoundly influence your path to success. Once you've reached a skills threshold, natural abilities cease to be the primary determinant of success. A more critical factor is the possession of practical intelligence. Practical intelligence is a procedural knowledge, knowing how to read and navigate social situations to achieve your goals. This involves knowing what to ask, whom to ask, and when to do it. The capacity to interact with and negotiate with authority figures can propel individuals closer to their objectives. This type of knowledge isn't innate. Sociologist Annette Leroux discovered that wealthier parents often foster a sense of entitlement in their children more than lower-income parents do. Typically, they achieve this by paying closer attention to their children or by providing them with stimulating activities that promote intellectual growth. These parents teach their children to assert their respect and customize situations to cater to their needs. In essence, they impart practical intelligence. In contrast, less affluent parents often feel daunted by authority and allow their children to follow a pattern of natural growth. There's less prodding, pushing, and encouragement compared to wealthier families. Consequently, children from lower-income households are less likely to acquire practical intelligence, significantly reducing their chances of success. Key point 6. The year of your birth can be a critical determinant of your success. Life's unfair advantages can emerge from the most unexpected quarters. Take, for example, well-known software billionaires such as Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Sun Microsystems co-founder, Bill Joy. All of them were blessed with an exceptional talent for logical reasoning, ambition, practical intelligence, and opportunities to refine their skills. Does that solve the mystery of their extraordinary success? Not quite. It wasn't merely the opportunities they had. It was a specific sequence of opportunities that enabled them to accumulate 10,000 hours of computer programming practice at the precise moment in history. To exploit the rapidly evolving software industry, they needed to be born at the perfect time, late enough to have access to a new computer model that simplified debugging, yet early enough to preempt others from stealing their ideas. They also needed to be of the right age when starting their companies. If they'd been significantly older, they might have prioritized settling down over taking the huge risks necessary for their success. While not every successful software mogul was born between 1954 and 1956, the fact that many were indicates that being in the right place at the right time is crucial. Key point 7. Your geographic and cultural origins can significantly influence your achievements. You may have encountered the stereotype that Asians excel at math. Some might label this as politically incorrect, but various elements of Eastern culture indeed foster better math students. One of these is language. When children learn number words in Asian languages, they concurrently learn to add, bolstering their mathematical skills from an early age. Besides language, rice, a staple of the Asian diet, also contributes to math education because rice farming cultivates a strong work ethic. Growing rice is much more labor-intensive than cultivating Western crops. A bountiful, profitable rice harvest necessitates accuracy, coordination, and patience. Unlike the feudal systems in Europe, where farmers had to surrender most of their crops to harsh landlords, such systems were less prevalent in Asia, so rice farming established a direct link between effort and reward. Consequently, a culture of diligence evolved, embodied by an old saying, "No one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich." What's the connection with math? Like rice farming, math is challenging. You might spend an hour trying to figure out why you keep getting -17 when the answer should be 19,473.6. Studies have shown that students in Western countries tend to abandon math problems much sooner than their Eastern counterparts. So, indeed, Asians generally excel at math. It's part of their cultural heritage. People with ancestors who worked in rice fields often inherit a work ethic that's especially beneficial when learning math. This pattern continues, even generations after families have left the rice fields behind. Key point 8. By acknowledging the impact of cultural legacy, we can enable more people to strive for success and avoid failure. Outliers aren't always the celebrated individuals. They also include less desirable events, such as plane crashes. These rare incidents typically result from an accumulation of minor difficulties or mistakes that, on their own, might not matter. But just like how Bill Gates benefited from one opportunity after another, pilots can encounter a series of minor issues that culminate in catastrophe. Korean Air, an airline that had a woeful safety record before 2000, exemplifies this. Its crash rate was over 17 times the industry average. Interestingly, this poor record can also be traced back to cultural legacy, similar to the Asian affinity for math. Korean culture respects authority and advises deference to higher-ranking individuals. This meant that if a plane's captain made an error, subordinate crew members might hesitate to correct them due to their cultural conditioning. One of Korean Air's crashes in Guam was a result of such communication breakdown. The flight's first officer, aware of the poor visibility and the risk of a visual approach to the runway, tried to warn the captain subtly, saying, "Don't you think it rains more in this area, here?" To avoid a direct contradiction, the first officer couched his warning as a mere comment about the weather, which the captain ignored. The plane then crashed into a hill. After acknowledging the potential risks of their cultural hierarchy, Korean Air initiated a reform. They enlisted an American firm to enhance their flight crew's communication skills. Today, their safety record is on par with their industry peers. Key point 9. Recognizing the factors that contribute to uneven playing fields can help create more opportunities for people to succeed. The methods we currently use to cultivate talent into success stories are often ineffective and inefficient, producing only a few outliers. In sports like hockey, the annual cutoff dates mean younger players born later in the year are pitted against those almost a year older. Many potentially great hockey players, who could have developed exceptional work ethics or superior puck handling skills, miss out on opportunities because resources are channeled towards those with an unfair age advantage. This creates a cumulative disadvantage for others. However, once this systemic flaw is recognized, it can be rectified. For instance, instead of using annual cutoff dates, young hockey players could be divided into more age groups to minimize the impact of relative age. Children born in different quarters of the year could play in different groups, thus leveling the playing field. This principle applies to education as well. Rather than allowing children from wealthier backgrounds to have more opportunities, programs can be developed to provide quality education for all. One example is the South Bronx's KIPP, Knowledge is Power program, Academy, a rigorous middle school that caters to students from low-income areas. Despite no exams or admission requirements and the disadvantaged backgrounds of most students, KIPP manages to help 84% of its students perform at or above their grade level in math by the time they finish 8th grade. This highlights the potential of such interventions in creating more success stories. Final summary. The key message in this book is that extraordinary success is rarely solely a product of individual effort, talent, or intellect. Rather, it's often the result of a complex interplay of environmental factors, cultural legacies, and an individual's unique life experiences. From the birth dates of Canadian hockey players to the cultural legacies that make Asians better at math, these factors form a series of opportunities and lucky breaks that culminate in extraordinary achievement. Recognizing these elements can help us better understand the nature of success and potentially create environments that foster success for a larger and more diverse group of people. I really hope you found this summary insightful and valuable. If you did, please do me a favor and show some love by hitting the like button below. Your likes and comments really do mean a lot to me and help me continue creating content like this for you. And if you want to stay up to date with all the amazing content I'll be sharing in the future, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This way, you won't miss out on any of the exciting summaries and insights I have lined up for you. Remember, your support is not just a pat on the back for the hard work and effort I put into these videos, but it also helps the YouTube algorithm reach more people who could benefit from this content. So go ahead, tap that like button, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. Thank you so much for your support and for watching. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.